For more on the Chinese women getting involved in these stocks and bonds, I'm joined by Wei Gu. She's a China Wealth and Luxury editor at the Wall Street Journal. Good to see you. Thank you for coming on. Let me start with this. So we know there are more men investors, but I don't think that really matters because it should be about the quality, not the quantity. Are women better investors ultimately than men?
Well, women, just like female drivers, tend to be more risk averse and more cautious. So when you're investing in stocks, what's more important than short-term gains is protecting your downside. So if that's true, I do think that women can be better investors just because they are more cautious about not taking too much risks.
All right. Follow me here. I've got some numbers I'm going to throw at you. In a poll by Prudential, 75% of women, and they polled thousands and thousands of women, said that 75% said that having enough money was very important to them. Fair enough. But only 14% of women said they were confident of meeting those goals. That seems to be a very wide gap that has to close, does it not?
Yeah, well, being financially independent is very important to people. But in a modern society, it's getting quite difficult to reach that goal. If you define financially independent as having a nice house, a car, as housing prices continue to rise, it's getting harder for young people, no matter it's women or men.
More stats. 31% said they have an investment advisor, but in 2008, not that long ago, 48%. The point being is that they seem to be using investment advisors less. And some of the folks are saying that's because women are having a hard time finding investment advisors that really understand what they want, whether it's the returns, whether it's the risk assessment, whatever it is, something is not connecting perhaps the way that a lot of banks would like.
I think increasingly women as well as men are getting more confident about their own judgment. They're getting less dependent on their wealth advisors, and they need less hand-holding. I think part of that was also during the financial crisis in 2008. It just showed to the world that the financial industry got themselves into so much trouble, and there is so much conflict of interest and so many products that they sold to investors which didn't really do them well in the end. So I think that confidence in the wealth advisors were dwindled a lot from before. So it's not necessarily that the people don't understand them. It is a challenge because increasingly they're trying to serve even at the high net worth region. So serving people with say 10 million US dollars of spendable money. So they will be facing wealth advisors who will be serving like 30 people. So if you serve 30 people in a day, how can you direct so much attention? So I think partially it's they feel that they're not getting enough attention, partially that they feel that they are confident that they can find the best solution for themselves and not relying on third party who want to push for products and services and commission.
Now, Wei Gu, look, I know you're in Hong Kong. I spent a lot of time there working with some of the private banks there, the HSBCs and UBSs of the world. And one thing that I've always noticed is they have hired so many women, much more women than men, in fact, in many, many cases. And part of the reason is because they want to target the women audience. I am suspicious that more likely than not, women are taking a greater and greater leadership role when it comes to managing money in the household, and that's why the banks must see this, so they're hiring more advisors to basically meet that growing demand. Are we close?
Phil, that's an interesting observation. I do agree with you that there are a lot of women, a lot of top performing women in private banks. So say take UBS, for example, they have a Dragon Club for top performing wealth managers, and a lot of them are women. I originally thought that's because women are better at doing sales to men, which still, if you look at the wealthy people, the majority of them are men. But I think especially in China, a lot of women entrepreneurs, they're rising very rapidly. And also even with wealthy men, in a lot of cases, it's the women who is doing the finance management, who is running the household, taking charge of children's education and etc. And I have observed how wealth managers, female wealth managers, they just got on the phone very easily with the wife and talking about, oh, which school in Hong Kong, international school for your children. So that's a good way to establish bonding with their wives. And in the end, pushing for the overall wealth management, the whole solution.
Well, it's been fun chatting with you on a very serious topic, Wei Gu. My only advice is this. Every stock that my wife picks goes up, and every one that I pick usually goes down, so never fight over stocks. Wei Gu, thank you very much for joining us
That's a great attitude to have.
From Hong Kong.